My job tonight is to tell you about someone that I know well and someone that you have got to know a little better over the past few weeks. And I think we can all agree that we face difficult times and we're in a constantly shifting environment. But thankfully, through all of this, the one thing that stays constant is my husband, your Liberal leader. I love it. Through thick and thin, Mark remains steadfast and dedicated. He's tireless and always ready to rise to a challenge, no matter what they may be. In fact, rising to a challenge is something of a defining characteristic of Mark. Faced with adversity, he hits the ground running. He's agile and adaptable, and he's calm and cool under fire, which is always useful for me. And he draws on his incredible memory and a depth and breadth of experience which really is second to none. He tells me that one source of his mental agility is all the years and all the training he received as a goalie. He's always ready, and though he doesn't spend quite as much time on the ice as perhaps he used to, he still has annoyingly fast reactions. And I say annoying because in all the years of playing pickup hockey together, I have not once got a goal past him. So in hockey, as in his life and his work, nothing gets by him. As his partner, I'm incredibly proud of him. And as a Canadian, I'm so grateful that he is standing strong for our country. And we've traveled together across this great nation, and it's been an enormous pleasure for both of us to connect with people like you who come and listen to us speaking. And I've watched my husband listen, I've watched him learn, and I've seen that he'll never waver in his commitment to make this country better, stronger, and more unified for everyone. So I've been fortunate to be able to count on Mark for more than 30 years, and now you can count on him too. So I'm lucky to have him, we're lucky to have him. Without further ado, my husband, your...
Good evening, London. I am so happy to be back in London. I tell you, we were here during my leadership campaign February 4th, we went to Joe Cool's. Who's been to Joe Cool's? Who was there at Joe Cool? You were there. You were there. My friend Debbie was there. It was packed. And Ariel and Peter were there. And it was the first time I felt the feeling that's sweeping this country of coming together, not just standing up to the Americans, but building a great Canada. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to be in trouble. I haven't thanked my wife yet. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Diana. Not just for reading the introduction that I wrote, but for all of her tireless work on this campaign. And she has been crisscrossing the country, crisscrossing my riding, hammering in signs, knocking on doors, making phone calls, a commitment and compassion consistent with that she brings to everything she does. So thank you, Diana. Would not be here without you. And to be back to London, this beautiful, vibrant city, Rivers Greens Jazz Festival, London Nights, headed to the Memorial Cup. You know it. I'm coming back. I am coming back. And also home to 5 amazing Liberal candidates that we need in Ottawa to build Canada. We need your help. And for that to happen, we're at a college, place of education, excitement, engagement, and, I've got the 4th thing. It's on a medal. Will come empowerment. Okay, but you get a quiz every once in a while, so I have a question. Who's ready? Who is ready? Who is ready to stand up for Canada with me? This is the right, I've come to the right place. I've come to the right place. And who is ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential election of all? And we need you. We need you. We need every last one of you. Because President Trump's trade war, it has ruptured the global economy. It has betrayed our country, America's neighbor, America's closest friend, America's steadfast ally. No more. No more. This is a tragedy. It is a tragedy, but it is also our new reality. And because it's our reality, this is a time for serious leadership and a united Canada. 100%. We need to come together to fight, to protect, and to build. As if by magic, the signs appear. We will fight Trump's tariffs with counter tariffs of our own that will cause maximum damage in the United States with minimum impact here in Canada. And that's what we're doing. They're already complaining about it. We will protect our workers and the businesses that are most affected. We will use every single dollar that we collect from our retaliatory tariffs to protect those workers. And above all, in London, in Ontario, we need to unite to build. We need to unite to build Canada strong. You know, building big, very nice. Yeah, very nice. There we go. Very good. So, thank you. Thank you. You know what? It's going to require, to get us in that position, it's going to require some big changes. And I'm ready to make those changes. I'm not a career politician. I'm not a career politician. Sorry. If you're looking for a career politician, I'm not your guy. I am, though, a pragmatist. And so when I see something, when I see something that's not working, I change it. And that's exactly what we did when I first became Prime Minister. As soon as I became Prime Minister, we all know that homes are too expensive. So we cut taxes on them. We cut taxes on them and set out a strategy to build twice as many of them. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We didn't have this at Joe Cool's. They weren't threatened by us at the time. So. That's right. So we cut taxes on homes, but we know we got to build, baby, build. So we are going to build twice as many of them every year using Canadian technology, Canadian skilled trades, Canadian lumber. And we're going to... When I got into office, I saw that the capital gains tax was stifling those very builders that we need, innovators, hardworking people, so we got rid of it. We got rid of it. And I knew back then, and I said this back then at Joe Cool's back in early February, it was cold, I gotta say, but we knew then, because we're listening, the consumer carbon tax was too divisive, so we eliminated it on day one, saving you updates and sensitivity. And we're going to get the big polluters to pay you for saving energy. We'll get them to pay. Nous avons élargi l'accès au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions de Canadiens de plus puissent en bénéficier. 5 million more Canadians benefit from dental care. Hey! Pendant la première semaine, nous avons renforcé nos relations commerciales avec l'Union européenne, la France et le Royaume-Uni pour que nos exportateurs soient moins dépendants des États-Unis. Yeah. We don't want to be dependent. At the end of my first week, I brought together all the premiers to Ottawa. Not always the best idea. I brought together all the premiers at Ottawa. And we all agreed to eliminate all the barriers on trade and labor mobility inside our country. And I thought as I was going home that night, I thought, when is the last time they agreed on anything, except for hating the federal government, perhaps? But this was positive because, you know what? We got in that room in the middle of a crisis. I'll salute Premier Ford, Premier Houston, Premier Canoe, others. We got in that room during a crisis, and we realized, you know what? We need one Canadian economy, not 13. And you don't have that kind of agreement if you're the Prime Minister without following up on your side. So we will do our part. We will get rid of all federal barriers by July 1st. Free trade in Canada by Canada Day. So in 9 days, one country, une nation unie. In 9 days, as a new government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades. You know, sometimes actually I think he doesn't have an imagination, he just mimics Donald Trump. So the question, just imagine what we could do together over the next few years if we get a strong mandate on Monday. That's what we need. You know, we need a strong positive mandate. We need a strong government because as Donald Trump, as Donald Trump made clear just a few days ago in the Oval Office and in an interview just released this morning, President Trump, to be absolutely clear, we've seen this from the start, he is trying to break us so that America can own us. That's what they want. And that, that will never happen. That will never happen. They got to come through London. They got to come through London if they want us. No chance, no chance. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. Those two behind me should be enough to take the Americans. Look, we are over, and it was tough. I got to admit myself, we are over the shock of the betrayal. But we should never forget the lessons. You know, we have to look out for ourselves. And above all, we have to take care of each other. You know what? We didn't ask for this fight. No, damn right we didn't ask for it. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. Americans drop the gloves. And in this trade war, just like in hockey, we will win. We're gonna kick that out. You know, like many of you, like this great city, hockey has played a big part in my life. Yeah, go Knights, go, exactly. Go Leafs. Okay, go Leafs, go. Okay. But I got the oil in the, yeah, we got the oil there. We're in McJesus, that's the spirit. I believe, still. I grew up, trying to get different values when I was young. I grew up with the values back in Edmonton, values I learned at the kitchen table, in the classroom, and on the ice. My parents were teachers, and they stressed, yeah. They stressed the importance of working hard, supporting our community, and caring for other people. And my coaches in hockey taught me to play hard, be ambitious, but because it's Canada, stay humble at the same time. These are the values I see in London. These are London values. These are Canadian values. Et je me suis appuyé ces valeurs quand j'ai géré des crises au Canada et à l'étranger. Et aujourd'hui, je m'appuie sur elles pour faire face au président Trump et bâtir une économie renouvelée où tous peuvent réussir dans un monde qui a été profondément transformé. Now, I know someone who doesn't get any of this, Pierre Poilievre, because I have seen this movie before. Okay, it's fine. I've seen the Poilievre movie before around the world. He's that type of lifelong politician who worships at the altar of the free market, despite never actually having to work in the private sector. Yeah. Much easier that way. No collision with reality. The kind of politician who hasn't changed his mind by his own admission since he was 17. Has anyone above 17? Have you learned anything in the last? I've learned a lot. Make mistakes, you learn. But always relies on a reflex to cut and to divide and to rhyme. We need solutions. Solutions, not slogans. Yeah. We need calm, not chaos, and we need action, not anger. Because the politics of slogans and anger and chaos, let's look south of the border. Those politics are dividing and weakening the Americans. Yeah. And we will win. We will win this battle if we're strong and united. You know, the Americans want our strength. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. They want our country. They do. Never. And they're not going to get it because Canada is not America. Canada is not America. You look at it. You look at America. America, they say America is a melting pot. You look around this room. You look around this room. We're all Canadians. We're all distinct. You look at the diversity in this room. Canada is a mosaic. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. That's a right we deserve. Et aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. On ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones. Et il n'y aura jamais de droit pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada. Et le Canada n'en fera jamais partie, jamais. Canada will never, ever be part of the United States. So we got that settled. We were agreed on that. The question is, what do we do? What do we do now? We're in this crisis. We fight. Yeah, that's right. But first thing we have to do in a crisis is prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. Okay? We've got to distinguish between what we can change and what we can't. We can't change President Trump, right? So we need a leader who will stand up to him. Right. Le Canada. Le Canada. Le Canada a besoin d'un leader qui comprend que nous sommes maîtres chez nous, qui comprend que nous pouvons contrôler notre destin économique. We need a leader who understands how we can control our economic destiny with the right plan. Because in a crisis, plan beats no plan. And in a crisis, we have to act with overwhelming force to overcome the anxieties that we feel as we feel anxieties during the crisis. We have to act with overwhelming force to break through the fog of uncertainty that businesses face, and above all, to replace what the crisis is taking away. That's what our plan for Canada Strong will do. That's what we will do. We will start by making sure that the government spends less of your hard-earned tax dollars in order that Canadians can invest more. But the core of our plan is to build, baby, build. Build, baby, build. Notre plan va permettre de bâtir des millions de logements, une superpuissance énergétique, de bonnes carrières dans les emplois spécialisés, de nouveaux corridors commerciaux avec des nouveaux partenaires fiables autour du monde. Our plan will fight back against President Trump's trade war, and it will usher in a new era of investment, of jobs, of growth, creating $20,000 of new growth for every Canadian. That's making Canada strong. Now, we're deep into the campaign, and Pierre Poilievre has shown throughout that he has no plan to stand up to President Trump. Yeah, he's got the plastic straw thing, which I'll give him that. He's landed on that. Well, we face the gravest crisis of our lifetime. He's offering Canadians instead a fantasy of fiscal tricks and phantom growth. He's ignoring the very investments that we need to build a strong economy that works for everyone. He's surrendering in the fight against climate change. He wants to cut what Canada needs: childcare, dental care, farmer care, the CBC. He's got a he doesn't have it's not a bad interpretation of the plan, but it's not quite. Pierre has a, quote, bring it home, I'm quoting here, a bring it home tax cut that is literally never home. It doesn't arrive for 4 years. In other words, after President Trump is due to leave office. That's not a plan. Unlike Pierre Poilievre, I have managed budgets before. I have managed economies before. I have managed crises before. And in a crisis, you have to build forward, not cut back. A crisis is a time to come together, not to sow division. It's a time for experience, not experiments. I know how. We can give each other far more than the Americans can ever take away. And I know how as America retreats from the world, Canada can lead it. That's what we're doing. Now, before I wrap up, I want to say a few words about why we as Liberals, we as Canadians, why we care about having a strong economy. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the money. It is because we care about people. It's because we care about people. It's because it goes back to that value of community that we all share. It's because we know that we're all in this together. That's why we implemented $10 a day daycare. That's why we expanded dental care to 8 million Canadians. That's why we will make major investments in healthcare, and particularly mental health care and the treatment of addiction. And that's why my government is committed to working in real partnership with Indigenous peoples. So even though these times are unsettling, together we will win this trade war, and together we will build the strongest economy that works for everyone. We will do it. We will do it. And we will do it not because it's easy, but because it is right. And that is why I'm standing before you tonight. Canada, this great country, I am very fortunate this great country has given me literally everything. My family, my education, my values. And in return, I'm ready to give everything to Canada. But for me to do that, I need your help. I need your help. On Monday, the people of London, the people of southwestern Ontario could decide who's Canada's Prime Minister. There are 3 days, only 3 days left in this campaign. To use a hockey analogy, there are 3 minutes left in the third period of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It is time to leave everything on the ice. That means I need you to knock on even a few more doors, a few more phones to pull the goal. Don't pull the goal. I'm the goalie. Don't pull the goalie. No, wait. To pull the goalie, we have to. I'm confused. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We need more phone calls. We need you to talk to your friends and neighbors anything. Above all, we need you to vote Liberal so I can protect the values we share, so we can stand up to Donald Trump, so we can build a united Canada, so we can build Canada strong. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.